Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cardano Live. I have Sebastien, Nico, and Robert here today with a special announcement. I actually don't know any of the details of the special announcement, so I'm going to be handing it over to Nico here shortly so he can tell us what the special announcement is. We've got links down below in the description if you want to check out the links to dcSpark Twitter. Make sure you like and follow dcSpark over there on Twitter. We've got a link to their website down below as well, so check that out. And while you're down there, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. Without further ado, let's hand it over to Nico. What do you got for us today, sir?
Hi, how's it going?
Great, man.
So, first I would like to, tell everyone that me, Seba, and Rob, we are creating a new company. This company is called dcSpark. It comes from decentralized Spark. And you can see our website at dcSpark.io. And the question that you should be asking, what is dcSpark? What are these guys going to be working on? So dcSpark is this company that we are basically going to be crypto ecosystem builders. What do this mean? We're going to be focusing in extending blockchain protocol layers, implementing ecosystem tooling like APIs, SDKs, also developing user-facing products and apps. So basically, we want to be building an ecosystem around some specific projects. And guess what? Cardano is going to be our main project. And also, usually when you want to build, you also need like some funding. So also, I'm super happy to I already mentioned that we are almost done raising our seed round, $1.5 million. So this is going to help us hiring a lot of people. So right now, if you go to our website, also you're going to see that we are hiring for some key positions. If you want to build on Cardano and you're excited about what we could be working on, please apply and maybe we could be working together.
Nico, that's fantastic. It sounds like you guys are going for number one. You're going for number one, guys. You are. Okay, so check out that link down below. They got job descriptions over there on the dcSpark website. They need developers over there. Anything else, check out that website, see what they need. We got a lot of people doing this lately. I know I stopped my previous full-time job to work full-time on Cardano. I'm glad to see you guys had wrapped up working on Cardano and you're still working more on Cardano with your own company at your own pace. Nico, CEO, Sebastien, CTO, Robert, CSO. Sebastien, you want to tell us a little bit about what your plans are, what you see going on with dcSpark coming up in the near future?
Yeah, so what we're planning to do with dcSpark, as Nico mentioned, is trying to focus on three main things, which is extending blockchain protocols, building tooling, and also building user-facing products. So we have experience already doing this at Emergo. All three of us were at Emergo, and so we already have experience doing this. And so a lot of it is a continuation and extension of what we were already doing. So for extending the blockchain protocol, we're very excited to continue working on Cardano through partnerships we've done with IOG in the past, and we're especially excited to develop stuff with Plutus. And so we're trying to go kind of a complete end-to-end loop. And so we're going to be working on, for example, building missing Plutus tooling, and then building dApps that use Plutus, for example, and then release projects that actually use the tools that we created. So we think that our company is kind of in a unique position because we have experience across the end-to-end stack to not only build the tooling that developers want, but also release actual products that use these toolings and be confident that we didn't just make this tool that nobody will use, but actually we have a properly designed tool that we will maintain, and we have actual products built off of this. Now, one question you may have is, why couldn't we have done this under Emergo, right? So obviously this, as I mentioned, this is already some stuff we were doing under Emergo. And so we could have kept doing that under Emergo. But as you know, Emergo is kind of a company created for a specific purpose. And so it kind of limited, in a sense, what we can do. For example, with Yoroi, Emergo was never really funded for Yoroi. That was not really what the company was supposed to be doing. And so for Yoroi, we had to, make sure that we had to fit within certain budget constraints. And we can't really easily monetize Yoroi, because anything we could try and do to monetize a product, then the community kind of sees as like, well, why do they need to monetize this? Emergo already has, money from the pre-sale. And so it kind of, fairly limited us and how much we could do, and it made us spend a lot of time kind of justifying stuff to the community. So for example, like the Ergo integration was a huge benefit to not only the Ergo ecosystem, but also Cardano hugely benefited from the work and will continue to benefit from this work. But as you know, we had to spend a lot of time going on podcasts and stuff to talk about people, talk about the work we're doing. And, this is like a constant theme. And we thought by starting fresh, kind of doing our own thing, it should enable us to bring products to the market faster, bring features to the market faster. And the kind of commercialization of these products will help us not only, hire more developers, but hire developers that, can eventually build features for all users of, our products, be it Cardano or otherwise. So we think that this additional freedom will allow us to move, much faster and in the end benefit the users.
Man, that's fantastic to hear, Sebastien. I think people are already excited. I could tell by the comments in the chat that people are very excited to see that you're continuing to work on Cardano. Now you're expanding, you're going further into Plutus work. Now you guys have previous experience working with what was previously Icarus code base, and then that kind of migrated onto Magna. I can't remember what the name of that was, Tadu. But
Tangata Manu.
Right. Yeah, Tangata Manu, that was it. I got that T and the M reverse there. And then also have been working on Yoroi. Now, this isn't a showstopper for Yoroi because there's a bunch of developers at Emergo still working on that, so don't worry about that. I know those Babas who are over there still working on Yorois, and they're good. They're good, right? They got, I think Ruslan and Vincent are still working that, and probably many other people over there working on that Emergo. So this is great. This is a sign of growth and expansion and decentralization as you guys continue to expand the Cardano ecosystem out further, and now hiring more people, bringing more people into the ecosystem, improving the decentralization and the competition. And do you guys plan on putting in, now Robert, I'll get to you in a sec. Do you guys plan on putting in a Project Catalyst, or do you already have a Project Catalyst put up? Because I want to make sure I get that link down below.
Yes, we have 3 proposals in Catalyst, and for some people, they still think that we are in Emurgo. So people were like, why Emurgo needs more money? And now everything's going to make sense that we are not in Emurgo, and we want to be able to fund some of the project and work that we want to be doing. And we believe that Catalyst is like perfect for that.
Okay, that's fantastic. I will get those links from you guys when we're done with this podcast. I did not have a lot of precursor, just enough coordination to get the podcast up and running. And so we'll get those Catalyst links in there. Catalyst has almost $600 million on it right now. It's over $500 million, tons of money in Catalyst. Get these guys funded, get this project running. Chief Science Officer Robert, CSO, Chief Science Officer, yes?
CSO indeed, yes.
All right, man, you're a podcast ninja, man. I see you all over the place. What you got going on, Chief Science Officer Robert? What's up?
Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, recently I haven't been so podcasty, but yeah, the last 8 months I went on like 15 podcasts, so that was pretty hectic at some points. Yeah, so thanks for having me on the show, first of all, Rick. It's always great to talk to you. It's always great to be talking to you online on a podcast. And so, yeah, so with dcSpark, I think one of the things that we want to emphasize to the community as a whole is that we see there's a lot of really great potential up and coming. And especially with, Plutus being released soon, there's a lot of really good tooling there that already exists by IOG, but we know we can do so much better and really help provide a solid foundation to bootstrap for a lot of developers so that they have the opportunities to create awesome smart contracts, awesome dApps. And so a big focus that we're going to be having in 2021, 2022 is that Plutus is here and dApps are really going to start to be something significant. And so we think that a big focus on that, but also looking at how can we better work with the extended UTXO model. So as some people may know, if you remember who I am, I've been doing a lot of research in the past year and a half into the extended UTXO model. And that used to be on the Emurgo research repo. And a lot of those lessons were taken originally from the Ergo blockchain because that was released first and we did work there. And now we really have the opportunity to take so many lessons from that and bring it into Cardano. And that's one of the things that really excites me in the upcoming future is that we see there's so much potential. And with the extended UTXO model being very focused on doing things off-chain, there's a really great opportunity to keep working and building a tooling that's not only on layer 1 on top of the blockchain, but there's so much opportunity on the off-chain solutions as well. And that's why we're really focusing on both of those, because we're at a great moment where, I've been really diving deep into Plutus for the past 3-4 months now. So I really have the extended UTXO background, and we're really fine-tuning our Plutus knowledge. And now we're, starting to hire. We're going to be starting to hire people and starting to really push and focus on Plutus in a big way, along with a bunch of other products and projects within the Cardano ecosystem.
Okay, thank you, Robert. And I would like to encourage viewers to ask questions over in the chat. Let me know. I'll bring those up on the screen. I was making a mistake. I was waiting until the end of the podcast and saying, hey, if you have any questions, let me know if they're burning questions. But more importantly, we need to do this before we get halfway through the podcast. Let me know if you have any questions over in the chat. If they are relevant to the content of the podcast, I will bring those questions up on the screen and we will ask them. All right. So thanks everyone for that. Now, I think a lot of things people are going to be interested in is, we had Alex Shepernoy from Ergo here yesterday. You guys have some experience and exposure to Ergo, and there is some synergy there. Are you going to be doing some work with Ergo as well? Or do you plan on building dApps that connect between Ergo? I know you can't give away all the business secrets, but what can you tell us?
Right. So, I think something to focus on, for you people to focus on, is to realize that whatever work is done on extended UTXO systems like Cardano or Ergo, they are very much interoperable, say 80%, or interchangeable rather, from the design perspective. And so that really provides awesome opportunities for interoperability. And so, currently we're 3 dudes who are starting a company, and we have a lot of, bootstrapping to do on our side, just from a company perspective, but also from projects. We're not a major company, which is millions and millions of dollars, and we can't just hire 50 people all at once. And so I think one thing to really emphasize is that we're not planning on, just being, a quick rise and fall of a company. We're trying to build a solid foundation. And so saying that, we want to really emphasize that we're here to last. And so we're going to take on projects that we know we can do right now. We want to hire at a solid pace and really build, a company that can do amazing things. And so probably in the beginning, it's really hard for us to jump and do 27 different projects, just because we don't really have those resources, right? We're bootstrapping from zero. And so what that means is that, I'm currently constantly talking with Alex Shepernoy, as you mentioned. And, we're already discussing some opportunities potentially. And I think there's nothing set in stone. And so I can't tell you guys that, we're doing X, Y, Z. But all of this and the direction which we're pursuing has a lot of future potential. And I think people should be excited for what will be to come.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. And for people who are not familiar with growth of a company, the previous company that I just worked for, I loved, great company, Progeny Systems, awesome company. They started off with 5 people. It was just like you guys, 5 people in 1995. And by the time I met them in 2009, they had 250 people. And now they hit like 500 people just recently, 500 employees. And so these 3 guys are awesome. Everybody in the Cardano ecosystem knows you. Check out that website, dcSpark.io. They've got 4 job positions on there. If you're a pioneer, if you're willing to take the risk, if you like working, I'm assuming you guys, if you like having independent work, you're a self-starter, you're fired up, you're going for number 1, check out their website. They got 4 jobs listed on there. And I'm sure there's going to be a heck of a lot more listed on there in the coming months and years and years out years, because that's how companies build, right? So you guys have a vision, you have a plan, you have a market, you have a massive market that is just ripe for planning. Congratulations, man. That's all I got to say. Congratulations. You guys are freaking champions.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention also is as Nico said, we've already raised money for this company. And so when we say we raised money for the company, we don't mean we raised, money from one company. We mean we really, went out to multiple different investors and got, quite a large variety of people involved. And so it was really great to see so many companies wanting to invest in a company that's doing, so much work deep into the Cardano blockchain. And we think not only will this help us grow the company thanks to their investment, but also means, we can leverage their network. And so that means that, through our company, we can bring in a lot of investors and a lot of people who are kind of in the blockchain space into the Cardano ecosystem, into, you know, our family, and, you know, build stuff together with them, and, you know, include their network into our network. And so we're hoping that, you know, in a sense, this trend we're setting will make it easier for other companies in the future who want to, you know, build a Cardano company to reach out to us and say like, oh, we're interested in a Cardano company, and we can hook them up with our network. And we, you know, we can find people that couldn't invest in our company, but that wanted to, and we can, you know, play matchmaking also. And I think this opportunity of spinning off, you know, us three, which are, you know, well-known members of the Cardano community, as kind of the first real people to go out there and get this kind of VC investing, will make it easier for other people to come afterwards.
That's great. You guys are leading by example. I love to see that. Young folks building a company, entrepreneurs. Man, this is great. It doesn't get any better than this. Doesn't get any better. It does. It actually does get better than this. You just keep building. Awesome. Can I get to some of the questions in the chat? What else? Let's hit that. There's a few in there. I think you already touched on this. Do you see, from Crypto Collector? Crypto Collector asks, do you see your independence from Emergo allowing you to release tools faster and assume this will not be open source tooling? Please elaborate. Now, of course, everyone loves Emergo, so they're not going to like beat up on Emergo, but they could talk about, you know, what are we going to do? What do we plan on doing with this new independence you got? What do you guys got?
Yeah, so something really interesting is that although we are like a smaller company, we have a very, very long-term vision. So we're going to be developing things that maybe not even for this bull market, we're going to see the results. We can maybe be seeing results for like 4 years, 8 years. We don't care. If we live in something, we're going to wait for that. And Murgo is more like business-wise. So it's always, what is the business plan? What is like this thing, or what's the other thing? So now we are not going to have those constraints. So we're going to be able to develop things that are maybe like, even like very, very techy. So maybe a normal person is not going to get it, but a developer is going to be like, oh, that's amazing. Why are those guys want to do that? And for free, open source. And we're going to be like, we believe that's going to help the ecosystem. It's already going to help us. So we are going to release it and go for it. We already have raised money. So we don't care. Like, we are just going to try to improve the ecosystem. And these sort of things, for developers, we are able to see the value of them. But for other people that are like business-wise, or like they're like in other circles or with another like background, they're going to be like, why are you doing that? That doesn't make sense. But for developers, I think it could be like great.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Nico, Chief Executive Officer of dcSpark. Very much appreciated. We've got a few other questions in there. We can touch on those. Dustin Gooden says, damn, y'all got nice hair. I agree, Dustin. And true statement. Cardano with Paul says, best of luck with the venture. Looking forward to seeing more. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. And let's see. Bradapool says, congratulations on the new company. Is there any project or tools that you guys are working on right now that can be revealed? Okay. Anything? What do you got, guys? Anything you can be revealed?
Yeah, so I can mention some of that. So we already made 3 Catalyst proposals, as mentioned earlier. And some of that is to continue some of the previous work we were doing. For example, we worked on a Rust SDK for Cardano. And the Rust SDK is used by Yoroi, it's used by Coinbase, it's used by quite a lot of other exchanges and wallets. And, you know, I did a lot of the work for that library, and I still provide basically 24/7 support for exchanges and wallets who, you know, message me on Telegram, you know, asking, you know, how do I do this and how to do this and how do I launch this project using your library? And so a lot of these Catalyst proposals are meant to continue the work we've already been doing. So because my contract with Emergo is already done, this is something that we're already working on, you know, day in, day out, and we're going to be expanding this library and, you know, expanding, you know, our work.
Okay. Thank you, Sebastian. Anything you need to add? Nico, Robert, did he cover it well there?
For example, some people may ask, why is this library important? Seems like really specific, but for example, even Coinbase is using this library, which is like a big exchange that we know, and like developers, dev developers, like a lot of people are like depend on this library. So this is like a really, really critical thing for the entire ecosystem.
Okay. And, you know, there's a question. Thank you, Nico. And there's a question kind of related to this that I often hear people ask. Have you guys been using like the Plutus private testnet Have you been using Plutus in a box on your desktop, on your laptop? And what do you think of Plutus now that you've had some exposure to it? So where's it at with the private testnet? Are we going to public testnet soon?
Right. So personally, I've had the most Plutus experience among the three of us. And in regards to Plutus testnet, LiveNet, that is outside of our hands, and I cannot say anything about that. So while I know everyone would like to hear about that, that's I'm not the person to ask for that.
Okay.
Besides that, Plutus is really getting exciting for many reasons. And one of those is that it's finally really maturing. And as someone who, I personally flew myself out, and I think that's where I met you, Rick, the first time at the Plutus Festival in 2018, I think it was.
Yeah,
or
Plutus
2019.
Festival.
Yeah,
2018. That was December 2018. Yep.
Yeah, in Edinburgh. And so that's when Plutus was officially shown in public. And comparing what Plutus was back then, and I initially created some of the first Plutus tutorials for the community back then, and where it's gone to today, it's really night and day. And also, IOG has done some great work with solving some issues that haven't even really been addressed in other proof of stake systems, like incorporating delegation into the smart contract layer itself and inside of your Plutus smart contracts. This is something that actually other proof of stake smart contract platforms haven't addressed, but over the long term, it makes them very liable to attacks, where if you have very popular dApps without the ability to include delegation within your smart contract logic, then if someone makes like Ponzi scheme 2022 and everyone goes for it, like if 10% of all of the ecosystems of the currency, cryptocurrency in that ecosystem goes to that Ponzi scheme dApp, you already decreased the security of your blockchain by 10%. And so in Plutus, because there's delegation in it, you don't have that issue because you can create these higher order protocols in your dApps, in your smart contracts that actually delegate out the ADA and to actual stake pools. So you actually still have that security while you have smart contracts. I think that's one of the most novel innovations that IOG has put in that no one else has done. And I think we're really going to start to see that as proof of stake blockchains take off, where the incentives between smart contracts and their more naive proof of stake start to conflict. And so as the smart contracts get more popular, the security of the blockchain decreases. And so this is something that I think will really start to be felt in the coming future.
Yeah, and if I can add more concretely to that. So, me and Nico have been busy with kind of more standard tooling. So for example, we're busy with the Rust SDK and so on, which deals more with the protocol level itself. But also we've read Plutus books over the years as they come out. We're following the Plutus tutorial. Robert has, much more extensive experience, from reading the source code and digging really deep into it and, teaching people Plutus multiple times over the years. And so he has more experience, but as a company in general, we're kind of going through this as closely as we can. We planned to make some Catalyst proposals related to Plutus, but unfortunately, as people know, Catalyst got kind of skewed a bit in the dates. So now we're, looking at maybe proposing these proposals in a future Catalyst round, or we may get them funded in other ways. But we plan to develop and propose to the community some Plutus tooling as soon as we have this available to us.
All right. That's awesome to hear. You guys are that far ahead, and that Plutus is also that far ahead that it has actually solved problems that other blockchains have not even begun to address. So a great update on Plutus there. And Nico brought up about the Rust libraries as well. Do you guys see those Rust libraries being used in the out years? Are these going to be used for some period of time? I know most people are familiar with Haskell. So the history of that is Cardano built on Haskell. The ITN ran on the Rust libraries. The Rust was built in parallel with the Haskell. Rust is has more libraries, more support. And now there's two coexisting systems with you can run a Cardano node on Rust. You can run a Cardano node on Haskell. So you guys see those Cardano, the Rust code being used in the out years?
Yeah, I think for sure, because right now, it easily has, 7-digit number of users at least, because it's used by so many exchanges. Like, Coinbase uses it, Huobi uses it, I believe Binance uses it for some stuff, if I remember correctly. And there's a huge list of exchanges that uses it. Obviously, Yoroi uses it, and Yoroi has, 400,000 active users. And, other wallets like Atomic Wallet use it. So there's such a huge ecosystem of people that are using this library because it's so easy to work with and so easy to integrate into whatever stack the company is working with. And some people who are making Catalyst proposals are proposing like, oh, let's build a .NET SDK or a Python SDK or a Go SDK. And a lot of times these SDKs that other people are writing in other languages, they're directly referencing the work we're doing, or in some cases, they're building wrappers for the work we're doing. So now we are kind of ending up in a scenario where our Rust SDK is being either the reference implementation or dependent on by other SDKs as well. And so we think this tool will continue to be used quite well in the future, and the number of people that are using this library just keeps going up.
All right, man, that's awesome. So you got multiple options there for running Cardano. Now we have another question from the audience, and we'll try not to go too long, right? We podcast about half an hour, 45 minutes, but we're not going to rush through it. We'll make sure we get to everything. Chris Patton Walker, he's the creator of Cardano Mobile, and he has a question there. Will you be launching a mobile or new browser wallet? Do you guys have any plans for that? But sometimes you can't give away business secrets, so you can't just say so.
Yeah, so I can answer that. So as we mentioned, one of the things we want to be as a company is a company that focuses on products and end users. So, we could have decided to make our company just be about the tooling because we have so much experience on the tooling, and we could have made it about the core blockchain because we have so much experience, working with Cardano and other blockchains directly. And we could have said, okay, we'll just be working on the back end and we'll let the productization left for other companies to solve. But we want it to be kind of the full end-to-end. And we want to make the main focus of the company being on actually launching products to the users and getting actual people with dApps on Cardano and actually involved in the ecosystem. And so we have quite a few ideas that we're going through and some stuff we're already building. Some of that depends on, wallet integrations, stuff that, we can't do if we don't have, solid foundations. And so we're obviously investigating all the possibilities, be it, working with Daedalus, be it working with Yoroi, be it launching our own thing for our specific use cases. So we're not going to commit to anything right now, but, we're going to be focused on delivering products to the users. And delivering products to the users means we need to write our own wallet. We have experience for this. We have the money to do this. If this is what it takes to bring the best user experience to the users, we're going to do what it takes.
Man, that's awesome. Thank you, Sebastien, for that answer. Thank you, Chris, for the question. And the sky's the limit. You're just going to do what you got to do to get it done. I love that. That's fantastic. Nico, is it okay if I got like 4 more questions and comments? Can I hit those before we wrap up the podcast in about 10 minutes? Are you okay with that?
Yeah. And also to complement what Seba said, we are also going to be working with different DeFi protocols, but it's not so everyone is not pinging us to develop my DeFi protocol, but a little bit more developed protocols that they need some support. And we are already working with one that's pretty cool. We're going to mention it, but basically what we're trying to do is to also help companies that are building other blockchains to extend also to Cardano. And we understand how other blockchains work pretty well. And also, obviously, we understand how Cardano works pretty well. So this puts us in a very good position to help onboarding new companies that are already building stuff in the general space.
All right. Thank you, Nico. So I just want to give a little bit of a shout out. Do you hear that? Gemini and PayPal. Do you hear that? These guys know what they're doing. If you need help getting ADA running over there, check out their website. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's my dorky sense of humor. All right. Thanks, Nico. And Gemini and PayPal. We'll see what happens soon. All right. So let's see. S. Vishko, I hit on his question. S. Viksha asks, congratulations on your new challenge. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years compared to IOG? Big?
Yeah. So if I can start the answer for that and other people can hop on to my answer. So you may have heard Charles talk about Cardano 2025, which is, Cardano was originally a 5-year project, and that 5-year project scope was, up till 2020. And now IOG and the Cardano ecosystem is looking for a 2025 project. What will Cardano work on and what will it look like in the next 5 years? And there's been a lot of talks between different companies and among the community about what that looks like when a feature is reprioritized. And we definitely want our company to be part of that. And so we're, looking very much into synergizing what our company does with the other people in the Cardano ecosystem to contribute the most to Cardano 25 as a group, as a team and a family. And so we're kind of looking to, work with these companies to figure out what role we can play that fits best. Now, we personally think that our role that fits best will be in the kind of product space, as I mentioned. And so we're going to see how in the Cardano 2025 plan, we can put as much of our focus into, getting as many dApps and products launched in Cardano as possible. But obviously, we plan to grow and be a very much active part of the ecosystem. We don't plan to be like a 100 employee company like by the end of the year. So we have to kind of manage community expectations. I know everybody is really passionate about seeing us make this announcement, and they're hoping like we're going to just explode. But you have to understand that companies don't scale that way. You can't just hire 100 people and just say like, let's get started. You have to build it slow. And so doing that will take a few years, but we hope by 2025 we'll have a very solid team. And if you think about it, IOSK has been a company for more than 5 years. It took them 5 years to get to the point we're at today. And so we'll see where we're at in 5 years and how that compares.
Yeah, I understand, Sebastien. My old boss, Skip, used to tell me, he would actually have to tell other people while I was there. He would say, I can't hire 9 women and make a baby in 1 month. It just doesn't work that way. Okay. But for people who are interested, Christian put a link over in the chat. Check it out over there. If you want to join the team they're hiring, you can apply here, getonboard.com/company/dcSpark. And it's also linked through their website, which is linked down below. I'll get that link down in the description when we're done here, along with the Project Catalyst proposals. Okay. All right. So,
and if I can add something to the hiring, just really briefly, the platform we're using has like an update period. When you submit a job posting, it takes like a few hours for them to approve it. So we submitted also a position for DevOps and full stack developers, but it may not be updated on the website right now. So if you're a full stack developer or interested in DevOps engineering, definitely reach out to us because that position will probably appear shortly.
It's there. I just checked it.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks. Perfect, Seba. Perfect. You nailed it, man. So DevOps engineer is over there on the website on dcSpark.io. Follow that link and it will take you to the getonboard.com where you can apply for that job. Awesome, man. Man, this is going better. It's going fantastic. We have another question from K-Stock. K-Stock asks, will dcSpark work to increase the synergy? Now, we touched on this earlier. We'd already touched on this. But increase the synergy between Cardano and Ergo, possibility to see hybrid app leveraging extended UTXO to incorporate both projects in one dApp. Is there anything you guys would like to add to this question?
Sure. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay,
all yours.
I'll take the floor here. Yeah, so I think one thing that I want to emphasize too, especially, is that with the extended UTXO model, I touched on this briefly, but I'll try to go more in depth since someone asked. A really, really big focus is off-chain. Unlike in the account model where with Ethereum, you make requests to the blockchain and stuff just happens in the smart contract itself, in the extended UTXO model, instead, you build the transactions off-chain and then you just submit it to the blockchain to verify that it's correct. So rather than requesting, like in the account-based model, you perform the action off-chain and then on-chain they just check. And so in most cases, this is actually a lot more efficient because you're not doing all the computation off-chain, you're doing majority off-chain and allowing it to just check on-chain. In the Ethereum ecosystem, you're actually starting to see more and more protocols going in that direction, so offloading more off-chain. And so why am I saying this? The reason is that it's clear both for the extended UTXO model and blockchains in general that offloading as much off-chain is a priority. And so this is something that I'm really excited and interested about because I've been thinking about the extended UTXO model for maybe 2.5 years now, and very much so in the past 1.5 years, doing a bunch of research and so on and forth. And so one part of our company is also trying to target and figure out what is the best way to solve this off-chain problem. And so that off-chain problem is both in computation. So how are you, what is the framework, or where are you doing all that off-chain computation? With messaging, how do off-chain users message each other? So you may have heard about this problem with, say, multisig, where you can probably do multisig on-chain, but it's much more efficient to collect all the signatures off-chain. And so you have this messaging problem where, let's say, we have us four and we all want to do a multisig. Optimally, we just talk to each other somehow instantly, or just at the click of a button, and we can do multisig very simply by each of us just confirming, and none of that living on chain, which hits transaction fees, it doesn't scale, and it's a lot slower. And so all of these off-chain problems that I've kind of come across have pointed to requiring a solution that requires computation, messaging, and identity all linked together. And so part of our work, and related to Cardano and Ergo, and I believe at least in the blockchain ecosystem as a whole, is trying to figure out what is the technology that will allow us to solve this off-chain solution, or solve this off-chain problem. And so part of what we're doing, and in the upcoming months and hopefully years, looking 5 years ahead, as you mentioned, we really want to dive deep and see what technologies are the best to solve this problem, and the best that will enable both Plutus and Ergo, which really have this big off-chain focus, and potentially all blockchains really, is same things happening in Ethereum more and more. How can we solve this off-chain problem? And we're currently looking at other technologies that really fit this, and they're not specifically blockchain. And we're looking at how can we integrate all of this together so that users can really have a top-notch experience with lower fees, everything's faster, their identity is linked together, and we're really trying to see what we can do to make this a reality.
Yeah, and one thing I should add to that is if you're listening to that and you feel like this is something that you're interested in helping us solve, we're actually hiring for this kind of work. So one of our job positions on our job page is full stack developer with something called Urbit in between parentheses. And that's related to what Robert just talked about. So if you're interested in helping us, look more into this kind of problem and build actual products for users that leverage this kind of technology in a way that may help both Ergo and Cardano and other blockchains in the future, definitely look into that.
Awesome. Thanks for answering that. We did have a question in the chat related to Urbit. Very much appreciated. 2 more questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. We have one from Lefas. Are internships planned?
Yep. We would love to have people helping us doing internships. So please write to us using the contact page and add as much information as you can, and be really explicit about what is your passion, what are the type of things that you would like to be working on. Cardano smart contracts, would you like to be working in supply chain, whatever, so we can see about the fit.
All right. Thank you, Nico. And there's one more from Dustin. We've already touched on this. This is a good wrap-up question. This is a good way to wrap it up. Oops, I'm sorry, Dustin. I hit the wrong one there. What do you see? Let me see. I got that one. What do you look forward? There it is. From Kai W. What do you look forward to achieving the most with dcSpark? We kind of touched on this. Let's use this as a wrap-up question. Anything else you guys want to add? What do you look forward to achieving with dcSpark?
So as Seba mentioned, and also Rob, we are going to be mostly a product company. This means that we are going to be user-facing. So for us, it's going to be really, really important, the onboarding of new users and to make their experience easy. Right now, it's kind of not so great, although Euro is amazing, it helps a lot. But if we want to onboard users beyond cryptocurrency, what we have seen with Ethiopia or other initiatives, we are going to need better tooling, better products, and some things that are so much easier. And our plan is to start working on that, and also to be able to link between different projects that can complement each other. We are going to be doing a lot of stuff in Cardano, but for example, you have seen some name there, Orbit. I'm not going to explain much about Orbit, but I want to clarify that we may work in other projects, but they are going to be non-competing projects that actually they can complement themselves. So we can actually have a bundle that's pretty good for normal users, and we can push the entire ecosystem a little bit further with better products that are actually not thought for developers, but actually they're thought for example my mom or my little brother, or like people that are not so crypto savvy.
All right. Thank you, Nico. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for today's podcast. Thank you to the viewers for all of the questions that you had there. Make sure you follow those Twitter accounts down below. There's one for Japan in Japanese. Sebastien is in Japan and he's very fluent in Japanese. And there's a Twitter account for dcSpark as well. Follow those accounts for updates coming up in the future here from dcSpark. And we look forward to you guys. You guys are podcasting pros. Very good communicators. Everybody loves the communications that you get out to the community. And guys, just remember, dcSpark is going for number one. dcSpark going for number one. Cardano Live going for number one. Cardano's going for number one. We're all going for number one over here at Cardano. Guys, anything else? I'm going to give you the floor. Anything else you want to add? And we are done. What you got?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for everybody's support. You know, when we tweeted that we were leaving Emergo, both me and Nico, we were not sure what their reaction was going to be. But everybody's been so supportive. We've gotten hundreds of messages. We got so many DMs of people asking to be part of what we were going to do next before even knowing what it was. And we had investors reaching out to us before we even announced what we were doing, saying like, I don't know what you're doing next, but I want to put money into it. How do I get involved? And so it's just really been great to see everybody's support. So thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you, Seba. Robert?
Yeah, I just want to emphasize the same thing that Seba said. On my end, it's been, pretty surprising just how supportive everyone has been. And I think that's just pretty exciting for us because, we're starting a new company. And so it really makes a big difference to set your first foot forward, knowing that, we're in a really solid direction. Like we said, we're pretty solid in regards to investment too. We really have this awesome foundation to take part in building this, all this novel technology with decentralization. And we're really excited to see next 5 years, next 10 years, maybe even next 20 years. And so I think, I'm really excited to be here with you, Rick, announcing this on Cardano Live. And I think viewers really start to see month by month by month, you'll start to see dcSpark name more here, there, as we start to take on more projects, we start growing. And I think, our initial footsteps, I think most people here will notice them, but over time, it's going to start to snowball and build into something really big.
Awesome. Thank you. Nico, CEO, what you got?
Thank you everyone for the support. It's like really great and actually helps like seeing like the community excited about the stuff that we are going to be building, like sort of like pushes us to go the extra mile. And as you know, we are builders, so we like to build. And so if you have any recommendations for people that also would like to be building things with us, please let us know, let them know. And we are hiring hopefully a lot of people. So that's like the most direct way that we can get support from the community.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Thanks for being here. Thank you all to all the viewers. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.